Hi and welcome to a grix deck tech video for Kefka Court Mage. So this is 1 red, 1 black, 1 blue, 2 generic for a total of 5 mana for a 4/5 legendary creature human wizard. Whenever Kefka enters or attacks, each player discards a card, including you by the way. Then you draw a card for each card type discarded this way. This means that you will draw from 1 to 4 cards on each trigger. It is going to be rare for you to draw 4 cards, but you should be able to draw 2 in general. At least once someone discards a land and someone discards an instant, then you will have the achievement of 2 triggered. And you're going to fuel your own graveyard this way and dig through your own library this way. So from here you basically have card draw from the command zone, but you also have hand attack. You're hurting their hand size. Now obviously they're going to discard the weakest card they don't need, but still, sometimes it will actually have an effect. Then he has an activated ability for 8 mana, forcing all opponents to sacrifice a permanent, and you will transform Kefka to Kefka Ruler of Ruin. This is a 5/7 with flying, and whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, you draw that many cards. So suddenly it's a huge card draw potential here, because it attacks for 5, you will naturally draw 5 once it connects. But if you have more creatures that can punch, then more card draw for you. So if you flip this, you're going to have a beautiful game. However, 8 mana is quite a lot, so it's not the natural progression of how you're probably going to operate with this boss. It's more likely that you cast it for 5 mana and be happy with what you get. But Kefka Court Mage is a very open commander. It's basically just card draw in the command zone and grix's color identities. This naturally means that you can go in a lot of different directions. For example, you can play a grix's turbo concept, filling your deck with entire grix's Adnos package, or filling your deck with entire grix's Necropotence package. Or maybe even throw in a Bolas Citadel. And obviously we have the color identity of blue and black, so Faza's Consult. But you could go for a more grix's midrange concept too, trying to play the long game with the card draw from the commander. For example, we have the 3 black Hate Bears, Orcish Bowmaster, great anti-card draw, Daffy Voidwalker, anti-graveyard, and Opposition Agent, anti-search. And who knows, maybe you want to throw in a Notion Thief too. With the color identity of blue, we have access to a lot of counterspells. And with the ability of our commander, we should be able to draw into them so we can stick around to make the game go longer. If you wanna lean more and more into creatures, you could even include things like Dampening Sphere. This rule of law dampening artifact doesn't affect you if you're just casting 1 to 2 spells, 1 to 2 creatures that is, each single turn. And if your literally plan is to beat your opponents to death with your stacks creatures and your commander, then that's definitely an artifact you should consider, as it's quite a good current metagame, so to say. The build I've been going for is something of a hybrid, trying to include a little bit of a turbo so I can win fast, while also adding in a little bit of mid-range creature interaction without hurting my turbo win-con concept. So as I am playing Adnos in my build, I am not including Notion Thief, as that will hurt the ad nauseum. But I am playing Orcish Bowmaster and Opposition Agent, as they have lower CMC. I am actually playing Daffy Voidwalker too, because my personal opinion, I don't find it that strong, and I wouldn't be against anyone from cutting Daffy Voidwalker from their build. But I'm playing it in the end, because the anti-graveyard is kinda good and relevant. We are obviously including the entire grix's Underworld Breach package, as well as the Necropotence grix's package. But we are not playing Peer into the Abyss or Bolas Citadel, as I believe you should be careful of including too much. Now we don't have the color identity of white, meaning we can't play Grand Abolisher, but from data I found that that ability is very important. Therefore I'm playing both Conqueror's Flail and Defense Grid. From data I found that they are very important to have, to make sure you can win the game in a secure manner against your opponents that have hands filled with counterspells. By the way, Conqueror's Flail together with your commander will make your boss punch for 7, which is kinda nice. I mean, if you can't win the game with your turbo concept that I've included in my build, then maybe beatdown will still be a possibility, especially if you grow your orc army too large. I am not playing the Fierce Guardianship or Deflecting Sword. As the commander's CMC is a little bit expensive, it could be tricky to make sure these two free to cast interactions are available for us. And this is a build that is not focused on getting the commander into play. Now, if we can do that, that's great, but we rather resolve an early Ardenas or an early Necropotence. Meaning that the commander isn't something we are naturally mulliganing towards to resolve, it is something we resolve if we get to a game state where that is the correct decision. Now, resolving the commander is really strong, but comparing casting a 5-mana Adnas and casting 5-mana commander draw 1 to 4 cards, I rather resolve the Adnas. There's also a world where people get annoyed by you forcing them to discard their card, so they could swords the commander. I don't think that's naturally going to happen that often, because I think that's the incorrect choice in general. You should use your swords to plowshares to different things, but there is definitely a lot of games where I think my build, my deck list, won't have the commander in play, meaning my Fierce Guardianship and Deflecting Sword are ultimately just dead cards in the hand. But we are naturally auto-including Mindbreak Trap. Force of Will is a definite, Force of Negation 2, as well as Mental Misstep and Pact of Negation, definitely auto-including these two. As well as spot removals like Lightning Bolt and Abrade. Considering how frequent people have been playing Necropotence and Ad Nauseam, they usually go really low, suddenly your Lightning Bolt can sometimes be a very good interaction versus those two win cons. So how good is this commander in the end? Should you bring it to tournaments? Ultimately, I think it's decent. It's probably going to perform pretty alright, winning a few games here and there, and it should have a win rate that is okay and something you could be satisfied with. And depending on your playstyle, your skill set, it really could take a few games and even win a few tournaments too. I don't think this is going to be a boogeyman of the format or something of the best, but card draw in the command zone is always good, and this is a lot of potential card draw in the command zone that you can just accumulate over and over, as well as hurting your opponent's hand size. So in the end, pretty cool, with a lot of potential, and if you naturally get to the 8 mana, then big boom punch coming in. If you wanna take a look at my deck list card by card, exactly how I put it together, then link in the description below of this video. I think I'm personally going to playtest this commander myself, as I do think it has potential, trying out to see how good your card draw capacity with it is, so you might see it pop up in 1 or 2 games on the gameplay channel as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions for me, feel free to leave those in the comments below of this video, and I will do my very best trying to answer them. Until then, take care guys, and I'll see you in the next one.